And I'll talk about an underdog token really quick. I'm not going to spend significant amounts of time on it because I think it's moot in this current sphere of what's going on. But I will spend a little bit of time on one that caught my eye. I'm not going to go beyond the fundamentals though, because again, I think with the current situation, it's premature. This token is KUMA INU, KUMA at kumatoken.com. KUMA is on the Ethereum chain. KUMA, one thing I want to give them kudos for at the front of this, KUMA has arguably, I would say, the second most impressive white paper I've ever seen. They go to significant amounts of detail about the project and how this works and what it is. KUMA is a V2 project, and they archive the history of what happened in V1, which launched back in 2021, and then migrated to a true decent project and said, okay, we're doing a KUMA V2. We're going to start full decentralization, and they're doing a new token and build utility around it and a DEX and everything else. So it's mature as a project. It's not brand new. It's been around for a while, as the people have been around for the while. And it is associated very closely with, in the liquidity side of things, it's associated with stable coins on the back end. So as I was looking through the white paper, and again, being very impressed with the white paper and the explanation of how they've described what they're doing, I'm going to cover the points about the token, but what stood out to me is that they put a lot of thought into what they want the investor experience to be. When you go to the site and you see exactly how they are positioned and how they're built, there's not the same level of confusion and complexity you might see with other tokens. And they stress, we try to keep it as simple as possible. We don't have crazy functions. There's 1 quadrillion supply. They burn the liquidity straight out, and devs don't hold wallets. Now, when you look into the deep innards of it, they don't give you any details about things like tax, right? They don't give you anything about reflections. They say you stake and we farm, do yield farming, turn passive income, and we do decentralized trading. So you can do longs and shorts, which is very close to what a real exchange would do. They're listed on centralized exchanges, which means you don't have to spend the gas. So already you have more expansion than you might expect from a token built like this. But what really caught my eye beyond all the simplicity and everything else was the volume. The liquidity is over 5 million, close to 6 million. Daily volume is 2 million. Now I want to put that in perspective here. When you have a liquidity of close to 6 million with a volume of 2 million, in the current specter, in the current scope, in the current state of the world, that means that there's true interest in the project. And it's buys and sells. It's not like everybody's just buying with unreasonable levels of growth, and you don't see significant levels of dump either. It's a strong, healthy balance volume. It's not the usual volume where something just pumps and pumps and pumps unreasonably. And it's not significant dumps like you're seeing with Saitama. It's a healthy balance of buys and sells. And the reason that's important is if you have a token that is a healthy balance of buys and sells, it generally means there's confidence in the token as a project, that there's confidence in buying into it, and there's confidence to sell for profit because of the confidence of buying and the value persistence. It's able to sustain its value in a strong way, even though it doesn't have a lot of the utility yet that it should have as part of the roadmap that it's kind of working on. The DEX that they're kind of working to build isn't fully 100% yet. They're working on it, but it's not 100%. Being available on centralized exchanges has helped. Something like this, to see this kind of volume for that liquidity, is the primary reason I remained frustrated with Paratoken, because Paratoken arguably has a message in theirs. This is where they should be by now, easily. Because if you think about the target audience, KUMA doesn't really have a target audience per se, but they seem to have done a masterful job in the mechanics of the token, right? that it almost sells itself. Here's what I mean. Going back to the white paper, the ideas of doing limit orders and stop orders, you've heard me talk about that before, is generally for the centralized exchanges. Being able to do it in their decks means that you can keep it truly decentralized, but still benefit from managing profit loss and managing profit gain over time. Being able to do all the different things that you would normally do in the CEX, but not have to be in the CEX, not have to go through KYC, not have to go through all those, is appealing, I would assume, to some investors. Having your value be strengthened using stable coins, which is something Libero also has done, helps the price movement and your basis, what you invest in the project, you can trust it. You can bank on it. When you trade and you transact, you have more confidence in it, and it should, in concept, remain reasonably stable even during the disruptions we're seeing, like with the Russia-Ukraine situation. This is reflected in some of the price movement that I see over the past period. It's had a very healthy amount of buys and sells, as opposed to the significant level of loss that we see with other tokens, close to 30,000 holders. This one has confidence in the investor community that very few other tokens have. And the farming seems to actually be working since they farm multiple pools, including some pools that you wouldn't expect, like Leash from the SHIB ecosystem. A lot of the stuff that they're working on with the vault, KUMA vessel is for governance. So they're working on a DAO. They're working on a lot of different things. Add more utility for the users to support this. Here's the one thing of KUMA token, after everything else I liked, here's the one thing that I say I didn't appreciate from them. It seems like they fixed it in V2. If they'd like to come on the show and confirm that, I would love to hear it. But I want to call it out because it was on the V1, and I don't know how it affects V2. With V1, apparently, they sent half the tokens towards that idiot Vitalik. Same thing SHIB did, and same thing AIDI Finance did. And you know me, I don't like when they do that because he doesn't care about these projects. He's openly said he doesn't want these dog tokens. He said this. So I don't know why they sent those to him. I don't know if they actually sent it to him directly or they set it aside for him. Hopefully, if they set it aside and didn't send it, they don't plan to, because of what he did to AIDI Finance with the liquidity on that side, tanked that token. It's never recovered since. I'm assuming, based on the price and value I see, either they resolved it with V2 and got the money back, or they never sent it to him and they decided not to, because the price I see now is in a strong position. Again, if they'd like to come on the show and clarify that, I would love to hear and see this. I'm quoting from the white paper that they said they set it aside toward the idiot, and hopefully they didn't send it to him, and hopefully they decide not to send it to him, because I don't think he deserves it, because he's been anti-quote dog coins since it launched, all of these. And I don't think he deserves it, and we should stop doing that because he doesn't care about you guys. Anyhow, that's kumatoken.com for KUMA INU. It is on the Ethereum chain. If you want to take a look at it, I do encourage it. I think it's a strong project. I think they seem to have a good, they seem to care about the investors, and they seem to have a good design for what they're doing. I don't have any concerns at all about anything other than the whole Vitalik situation, which hopefully became a non-issue at some point, because the price movement seems strong now and the mechanics seem like they're doing their job. They're having some challenges like everybody else, but nowhere near the severity that I would expect given the current state of the world.